Good morning. So, I clearly look kind of like crap, but I am not sharing this as of right now. But when it does get shared, our life will have taken some major turns. So, I want to be able to document along the way as to what is going on. At this point, I have been posting tons and tons and tons of things for sale on my Facebook page, and I'm posting some in swap shops and probably even going to go as far as posting some in some other social media type groups to sell some stuff, as well as on maybe even eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark, different places. So I have spent the last week and a half in my home pretty much doing nothing but going through stuff. So it has been challenging. It has been a little stressful, and I'm not even close to done. I wish I was. I wish I was so much farther than what I am. But yeah, it has been kind of crazy. So again, like I said, by the time I actually show this to anyone, we will have been fully on our way into what we have going on. But at this point, it is still a big secret. There are a few people that know what's happening, obviously our kids and some of our close friends, but most people have no idea. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month ago now, David and I decided that we were ready for some major changes in our life. Most people don't know because, again, we've been pretty secretive over the last year, but for over a year now, I have been driving 2.5 hours to work and being away from my family. So I leave on Sunday afternoons, early evening, depending on the time of year it is as to how early it gets dark at night. And I have been driving down to Jeff City, Missouri, which is 2 hours away from Kirksville. I've been staying there in a townhouse during the week, and I am there until Thursday. Thursday afternoon, I leave about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then drive back home. When I leave at 2 o'clock, I actually leave from my work. My work is an additional about 30 minutes from Jeff City. So I have been working down there as an HR manager now for over a year, and I love my job, love the company, but I'm tired of being away from my husband. And tired of being away from the boys. Obviously, they're 21 and 24. They don't need me to hold their hand. They don't need me to be by their side, and they don't need to be with me every single day. And they're both doing their own lives, doing their own things, but that doesn't make it any easier. So anyway, after all of that being said and done, David and I have, for the last 3 years, lived in the house next door to the boys. It has been an awesome experience for 3 years. It really has. We lived in the house with the boys for 17 or so years. We bought the house when Dominic was 3, and we had spent about 7.5 years paying off all of our debt and trying to get our life on the right track to be able to purchase a home. Prior to that, when we moved to Kirksville, we had moved into an apartment. We moved into a couple of different apartments while we were in Kirksville for the first couple of years. And then after that 7.5 years, finally found a house that we wanted to make a home for our kids. So it was a huge move for us. Pretty much from the day we moved in, we started working on remodeling, and here we are. Dominic's 21. The house is still not done. Imagine that. But anyway, so we lived there with the boys. That was their house for their whole childhood, really. It's where they grew up. And 3 years ago, David and I had a opportunity present itself to us to purchase the home next door. We had known the people in the home next door. At one point in our life, we were actually good friends with those people. That is not the case anymore, but at one point we were. When we were still friends with them, we actually put a new roof on their house, and they offered up the idea of us just purchasing the home. So we did determine that that's what we wanted to do. So we purchased the home from them, and David and I moved next door. It was right before the holidays 3 years ago, and the house is beautiful. It is kind of one of those homes that it could be a dream home for someone. In some aspects, it has been a dream home for us. It has an in-ground pool. The upstairs is not exactly my taste. The downstairs is more modern, which is more my taste, more David's taste, but it's very luxurious, maybe is the right word. It's a beautiful home, an absolutely beautiful home, approximately 3,000 square feet, and everything in the home prior to us moving in had been completely remodeled and redone. Custom cabinets, beautiful countertops, beautiful hardwood floors, just an all-around gorgeous home. So for 3 years, we kind of lived this dream world of living in this house. And I consider us to be very, very blessed. We worked really hard to get here in our life. Things have not always been easy. We have definitely went through struggles financially, emotionally, physically throughout our marriage and throughout all this time. So these 3 years really at some point did feel like a dream world, a fantasy world. Like I couldn't believe it was actually us. This was really our life. So the decision that we made a couple weeks ago just kind of threw all that up in the air. Again, I mentioned that me being away from my family has been really, really hard. So part of that is what brought us to this decision. David has been building houses in Kirksville since 2007, or not always building houses at that point, but he started his own construction business in 2007. He's been licensed with the city. And he started doing remodeling jobs, small jobs, subcontracted out for a couple of years, and then kind of took the plunge and decided to go fully for himself. The last, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, maybe even more than that now, he has been building actual houses. Colin has worked for David since he was 12. He obviously went to college and got a degree and has, went to high school, done all of those things. But on the weekends and during the summers, he worked for him. Dominic also worked for him, but in a smaller capacity. Building has never been Dominic's thing, so he did not enjoy it at all. Colin did definitely enjoy it. Now I feel like Colin, though, is ready to kind of go his own way and do his own thing. In the last year, along with all of the challenges that we have faced with me being 2.5 hours away for work and being gone 2 hours every day from my family, David and Colin have built some of the biggest houses that they had ever built in David's business history. So we've done some beautiful homes. Right now, the home that they are working on is the biggest and most expensive house that they have built. It is a custom home, and it's just going to be gorgeous when it's finished. The home prior to that had been the biggest home to that point. It also was a custom home. It was a beautiful, beautiful home. If you're friends with me on social media, you've seen me post pictures of his work. I cannot be more proud of David and Colin, and even Dominic too, and the work that they've done on these houses. However, the homeowner that we built the last house for, not we, I didn't do anything, they built the last house for, is a very difficult person to say the least. So she has went above and beyond to cause issues with us, wanting everything to be absolutely perfect, coming back against David and the business for manufacturing defects, which is clearly completely wrong. However, many of you who know me very well know that I have never been a fan of Kirksville. When we left Centerville, Iowa, Kirksville did seem like an improvement and a step up. I was glad to get away from all of the chaos and to be far enough away from our families that we could live our own lives, but close enough that we could still go back home. However, after being here 20 plus years, I definitely don't feel that way. I have been ready to leave Kirksville almost immediately after our kids got into the upper grades of school. The school district is not what I wanted it to be. We didn't have the right amount of money. We didn't have the right last name. And I felt like my children who were involved in sports, specifically football, were able to be amazing at holding down the turf, but getting an opportunity to actually play and to do something with them, with themselves in the athletic field in Kirksville was never going to happen because, again, we didn't have the right last name. We didn't have the right amount of money. We just weren't the right people. And I know that that's not just Kirksville. I know that that's all over the place. But as a mom, it was very hard for me to see that, especially with Colin, my oldest, because he absolutely loved football. Everything about it was football. Now at 24, he still goes and plays football at the fields. I can assure you that the star players who played football with him in high school, they're not out playing football on the weekends. They're not out there caring about football the way that kid still does. So that breaks my heart because it was something he had great passion about, still has great passion about, and didn't get to do the things he should have been able to do because of, again, us not being the right people. So for all those reasons and many others, I was very ready to get out of this town. David obviously had his business here, so it wasn't that easy just to pack up and leave. Our children obviously had started school here. They needed to finish school here, and they have friends here. We have tons of friends here. It's not that we don't. It's just the town itself is not what I want to have for the rest of my life. So for a very long time, I have tried very hard to convince David that I was ready to leave. He obviously wasn't building homes and having his business here. It's hard to establish a business. And once you do, it's not simple to just pack that up and start over. And I totally respect that, understand that, get that completely. So he stayed and has, built houses or whatever. The last year, me not working in Kirksville anymore and needing to go someplace else to find a good paying job in my HR career field has just kind of been something we had to do. And we've had to make those sacrifices to make that work. It hasn't been easy, but again, we've been married 25 years, together 26 years. This is not, newlywed stage of life, and we've been able to do it, but it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life by any means. So all of that being said, David has dealt with one headache after another with this woman who he built the house for, which in turn has made the city codes department and the city be a part of our life that has become a thorn in our side. After dealing with that in, day out for so long, David has finally decided that he's done. He doesn't want to build houses here. He doesn't want to have a business license here and do work here. This is not the community that he dedicated 20-some years of his life to. They do not care about him as a builder, and they do not respect him as a builder. And instead of being there for us, business owners who are putting back into the community and doing things for the community, they're just concerned about one complaining woman who comes right out and says she likes to play stupid so she can get her way, which is horrible, which is sad. And at the end of the day, all that's done is destroyed David's business and destroyed his love and care to be here in this town. So I say all of that to come back to what is going on. It hasn't been easy. It wasn't a simple decision. It kind of was for me, but not for David. But we came to the determination that it was time for us to leave Kirksville. So with that being said, it's where do we go? What do we do? What's happening? I really, truly hope by the time that you are watching this video, everything has fallen into place. At this point, we have a lot of things that have to fall into place. So as soon as David finishes the home that he's building right now, we will then pay off the loan on our current home here. We will then turn around and sell that home, which is kind of sad. And we will also be selling our land. We have land in Kirksville where we were going to build our dream home, and that no longer needs to be a reality. So we will be selling that as well. Our ultimate goal is for me to find a job someplace else, way far away. So I have been applying, I have been interviewing, I've had a couple of offers, but not for the jobs that I really need them to be, not for what we need for our family. So I'm currently still looking. Again, I hope by the time that I actually share this video that has become a reality. And if that's the case, then we will have bought a fifth wheel camper and a new truck for David, which if any of you know his truck, that is very much a needed thing. He has sacrificed for years driving a big piece of junk and given me and the boys the nice vehicles. So it is his turn to have a nice vehicle. So if everything goes as planned, we will take that fifth wheel camper and his truck and we will be moving to Florida, which is the greatest thing for me. I love the ocean. Being by the ocean is my ultimate goal. That's where I want to be. I want to be able to go every day if I want to. I want to know that I can get in the car and be there within, an hour or whatever, maybe even less. That'd be great. So at this point, I am applying for jobs in Florida, looking for jobs in Florida. Until that happens, I will continue to work down past Jeff City. I will continue to stay in Jeff City. If our house is gone and everything is taken care of and I'm still trying to find a job, David will be living in the fifth wheel camper out at the Kirksville Lake for the time being. Hopefully that is not a long path. Hopefully it's very short, as we really would like to get out of Missouri before winter hits, because Missouri winters are not that great. So I hate snow, hate winter. Now, all of this being said kind of comes back to what I have been doing the last couple of weeks. So I have been working nonstop, going through all of our cabinets, all of our closets, all of everything. And I am currently working to sell pretty much everything we own. That's scary, kind of sad, kind of exciting all at the same time. We are literally only taking what can fit in a fifth wheel camper. So right now I have a fully furnished townhouse in Jeff City. I have not started selling any of those things yet, since I obviously don't have a new job yet, but that will be the ultimate plan. However, we know one way or the other we need to be out of this house before long. So because of that, we are going through everything, we being me. So the boys have been taking things that they want. Otherwise, I'm selling pretty much everything we own. So I've had people question me on my Facebook page. Some people have sent me text messages, private messages, asking me what's going on. And I've been kind of vague really to most people because, first of all, it's kind of a private matter at this point. We're not sharing it with everyone. We need lots of things to fall into place for this all to work out. I have been doing a lot of praying, a lot of hoping that it all does work out. Our boys are super supportive. They think it's good for us. They think we need the change. Once we get to Florida, obviously, hopefully I will have a great job. Ultimately, I'd like to be working remotely fully for a company in Florida so that I can work in the fifth wheel camper. That's my ultimate goal. Especially with COVID hitting, I don't want to have to deal with going into an office every day, especially not knowing what the laws and rules are going to be concerning masking up and concerning the vaccines. I have very strong opinions about that. This is not about that. I'm not sharing that here, but because of those things, I really would like to be able to work remotely. That would be my ultimate goal and plan. So I ultimately hope that's what I can find. David is more than likely going to see about flipping houses when he gets to Florida. That is not set in stone. He may determine to do something different, but at this point, we feel like flipping houses would be something very good for him. Our plan is to live in the camper for at least a year. And then hopefully as he flips houses, we may find a home that we feel fits what we want, what we're looking for, and be able to then call that home. So we'll see. That none of that again set in stone. Right now, a lot of things are up in the air. Right now, I'm just focusing on getting rid of all of our items, really down to taking pictures of things on our walls, all my scrapbooking stuff, which has been very tough. I know that I need to get rid of it because I don't have time for it and I don't use it, but it was definitely hard. Definitely getting rid of some of my clothes, shoes, all that kind of stuff, all of our home decor. We really ultimately are only keeping very, very, very few things. Some things will be stored at the boys' house, but most of it we're just getting rid of. All of our big furniture is being gone, pretty much most of our stuff. So very strange, very crazy decisions for us. But you know, it's good. It's good. I've definitely struggled a little bit with leaving the boys. And David has told me, I do not want to get to Florida and you cry every single day because you miss your kids. So I can assure you there will be days where I'm crying. I can assure you there will be days where I miss my kids. But at the end of the day, my boys are 21 and 24. They're not 9 and 12. They don't need me to hold their hand. They don't need me to be there every single day. And Dominic ultimately for the last, now going on 4th year, have been in Alabama. He's gone a good majority of the year. Now during COVID, he did get to be home more, which was wonderful, but he's in Alabama. He is living his own life. Trust me, he knows how to get a hold of me when he needs money. Trust me, he knows how to get a hold of me when he doesn't feel good and he needs mom advice. And I obviously will continue to be there. Leaving Colin will be a different thing because Colin lives right next door. He's not still in college. He's been working for David. So I see him every weekend when I'm home. Me being gone during the week has helped a little bit with that, but it's still ultimately tough. It's still ultimately sad to leave him. It's going to be hard to leave both of the boys, but it's not forever. It's not we won't ever see you again. They're both doing their own lives, doing their own things. They both have serious relationships. They both have great friends and goals ultimately for them. So with David's company leaving, what does that mean for Colin? He is going to probably do some small jobs without David. And then ultimately, I mean, he has a degree. So he is going to possibly look into seeing what he can do with that degree and maybe finding a different job. It's a little scary for him too, obviously. Ultimately, I think Colin will probably leave Kirksville within the next year or two, and I say hallelujah, praise God for that. I think he'll probably end up in Arizona. That's kind of his plan at the moment, but you know what? Things change. As far as Dominic, hoping Bailey convinces him that Alabama is a great place to stay and that he ends up staying there once he's done with school. for his degree. Kirksville definitely doesn't have it. And ultimately, I feel like my entire family needs to move on and that we need to make good decisions to move our lives to the next level and to different places. Now, all of that being said, we have amazing friends in Kirksville. We have people we care a lot about, but we are not doing formal goodbyes. We are not having a goodbye party. We are not doing anything like that. The plan is to pretty much just kind of pack up and leave and say goodbye later, I guess. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be depressed about it. I don't want that. I'm excited for this chapter. I'm definitely scared, but I feel like you only have one life. You gotta live it. You need to do things for you. We have raised our kids. We will continue to be there for our kids, but we're still young enough that we can travel and do fun things for us, which ultimately, again, if I have a fully remote job, that makes that much more possible. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have all kinds of ways to stay in contact with people, and I fully intend to do that. I fully intend to keep my friendships that I have with people all over the United States, and Kirksville's no different. I have made great friends here. I do have people who mean a lot to me, and those are not leaving. But at this point, this is the decision that we need to make for us. And once again, I hope by the time that I actually make this video publicly and put it out for people to see that I'm already in Florida and I'm sitting by the beach and I have a job and David is happy and I'm happy and our boys are flourishing both in their own lives as well. That's where I want us to be. None of this is set in stone. Who knows? Tomorrow it could all change again. But at the end of the day, living a simpler life is where I want to be. I don't need all these things. I don't need all of this extra baggage. There are parts of Kirksville that I'm ready to leave behind. There are parts of life that I want to go experience in a different place. And living in a camper is not going to be easy. I've had people say there's no way you're going to be able to do that. But you know what? It'll be an adventure. We have not purchased anything yet. We've looked at a lot. We've been watching lots of YouTube videos trying to find what's the best option for us. And ultimately, we'll probably be purchasing within the next 3-4 weeks, I would assume. And things really will get kind of crazy in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, like I said, hopefully when I share this, life is a little calmer and I'm in Florida and I have a good job and everything is going well. So if you actually sat here and listened for 20 some minutes to me talk, I greatly appreciate it. And for those of you who have been our friends, you're still our friends. Those of you who have made impacts in our life, thank you. And those of you who are here, hopefully you will continue to be here. I plan to document this journey, document this light of us in Florida. Ultimately, we're planning on living in the camper for at least a year, unless something changes. So I think that will be an interesting journey to document. We will see. So again, thank you guys. Thank you for being our friends. Thank you for caring about us. And if you're just here to be nosy, whatever, there you go. There's your gossip. There's all your stuff for you. This is what's really going on. No, we didn't lose our home. No, we didn't get kicked out of Kirksville. No, we made these decisions on our own to do this for us. And we are doing what we feel is right. So thank you all. Hopefully I'll keep you updated and posted and more great things will be coming. Thanks. Bye.